Okay, so Kira made a song called Wildcard 7 months ago. Pretty much ever since this came out, I've wanted to make a short music video of just the last little bit of the song. And that's what this video is going over that, because it's taken a lot longer than I expected to so far. And I've only gotten 4 shots done out of the 12 that I planned out in my shot list here. So first thing I did was I made this shot list because I only knew what about 3 of them were gonna look like in my head. So I had to write out everything to figure out exactly what I wanted them to all look like. And after I made the shot list, I just wrote the lyric for the shot and then what I wanted the shot to be. After I wrote that, I made this file right here, which is the layout file. Now the thing is, I'm gonna have to start over. I paused. I'll continue. The thing is, what's in your head isn't always actually what you want to make. The thing about art is this music is distracting, man. I'm gonna pause it. Thing is, people seem to think that art is about learning to take what's in your head and then making it real. And while that's definitely a part of it, what's in your head isn't actually always as good as you think it is while it's just in your head. And if you were to make it perfectly, oftentimes you'd end up making something that's not as good as how you thought it was going to be. So one thing that's really important is to make, sorry for dragging that so quickly, is to make something like this where you get to see what it's get something representative of what the actual thing is going to look like a sketch. If you're doing a drawing, you do a sketch first. That's what this is for a video, so that I can see what things look like in motion, see how the different shots actually fit together and all of that. And I ended up definitely needing this because there was definitely some stuff that wouldn't have worked the way that I had written it in the first draft of the shot list. That's why I have 2 drafts. So this is very much not the final thing. Like, there's a lot of stuff that's missing, especially in this shot right here. There's especially a lot of stuff that's missing. This one's going to be like the coolest shot when it's done. At least I hope so. This one's going to be a close second, or maybe it'll take the cake. Yeah, there's like, I got it all planned out like this. And then if I move that out of the way, we have in here, I have all the stuff. So I have my layout, and then like so this is my first time making a project that's got like 12 shots in it. Everything else I've done has been like maybe 3 blend files maximum. So I'm trying to figure out how to organize things, and I think I've gotten it fairly okay here. But just to show you like what one of these shots looks like when it's done, I'll have to go to the scene. I have separate scene and compositor here because I want to render out as an EXR sequence, and that way I can have multiple frames rendered that I can flip back and forth between in the compositor. But anyways, I made this whole scene because this shot's about done. And if we look at it, this is what it looks like in camera. I made the material for the wall for these bricks. I made the ground material. Everything here I modeled and materialed except for the fire escapes, which I got from Polyhaven. I got a bunch of stuff that I didn't end up using, and Polyhaven stuff I think is Creative Commons. But anyways, to see what this looks like when it's done, if I go to the compositor, and then here we can see, here's a final frame, which you can see is very much different from how it looks before. And the reason for that is because the magic is done in the compositor with your nodes. It's literally just layering things up, some color adjustments to add fog, some the blur for the defocus because it's way faster to do that in post, and then adding stuff like the glow on the eye and all sorts of other kinds of effects. All of that's done in here. This is the place where you take your drawing and your 3D render and you make the lighting between them match well enough that they feel like they belong together. That's kind of my whole thing, is taking 3D and 2D and mixing them together in a way that's different from how other people mix them, because I don't want to make the 3D look like it's 2D or make the 2D look like it's 3D. I want them to both be their own thing, but then still fit together by making the lighting and the colors match up well. That's kind of what I'm trying to do here. So I render out a half resolution test frame like this and composite it, so I can do that back and forth with the compositing and the rendering, and that way, because it's half resolution, I don't have to spend nearly as much time rendering. So I have a number of nodes in here that are marked in red, because when I change the resolution later, there are some parameters on these nodes that I may have to change, because the blur size, for example, I'm pretty sure is a number of pixels. So if I double the resolution, I'm gonna have to double the number of pixels to get the same blur. So yeah, you gotta leave a bunch of notes for yourself when you're working on a larger project, because you're gonna forget things when you come back to it later. But that's kind of what a single shot looks like. To show you in context, I have the first 4 shots, which are about done. These first 2 I have just viewport renders of, but then the other 2 I was testing out some compositor effects and how the rain looked, so I did this. But if we go ahead and look at it, you can see I have it in motion. I figured out what the transitions look like. I had to have a slight fade here because it was hard to get this transition between these 2 shots to look right, because it was important that the rotation on one was the opposite direction of the other to keep it balanced. But then it just felt really jarring, and the solution ended up being to have one end with a similar perspective to the other and have it fade. I don't know why I went into that. That's not really important, but you know, there's cool stuff. This is cool. I like this. And if you don't like it, then go watch a different video. That's kind of where this is largely in terms of completed stuff. I do have scene 6. I've skipped over scene 5 for now because I want to have scene 6 mostly done, so scene 5 I guess shot. So shot 5 can be done like as a connection between 4 and 6. But here I've got planning out what it looks like. So if we bring this back, this would be right here. We have that part. So this is switch the game up, I know, is the lyric here. I tried out a couple different camera angles and ended up settling on the original one that I had in the initial board. But this kind of thing where you try out different camera angles is important. So what we have here is this top person here would be Teto, and she'd be laying out her hand in this poker game. I think I might have too many cards in the middle. No, I don't know. Point is, this is a composition I ended up settling on. And then once I knew that that's what I wanted it to look like, I was able to actually start modeling, and you can see I've kind of started on the texture. Yeah, it's just 2 noise textures and a color ramp. There's a lot more that goes into making a good material than that. But yeah, I went in, I made these poker chips. You can see here, if you zoom in, they have these sharp edges on the rounded bits in the middle, but when they're small, they're good. I have this idea for a whole effect that is in the other shot that's gonna require some higher detail poker chips. So over here on the side, I have both the lower resolution model and the higher resolution model. But this is where this shot is. I don't really know how to explain everything the way I want to. I went and rehearsed this video so many times and then I still don't know what to say. Ugh.